1989, almost every single worker who worked on that project cleanup is dead. Almost all of them.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into more of that later, but that's a very good point. I mean, no. And then they're telling the fishermen that they have to help BP in order to get most of their money.
Yep. Yeah, it's a kind of a sick and twisted situation. I mean, it is a sick and twisted situation.
They're telling you got to help them work and clean this up if you want to get your money, but they don't want to provide you with a respirator because you got to go through all these OSHA qualifications. And I'm sure you have more information. What have you heard about that?
Oh, it's disgusting. I mean, in my opinion, it's appalling and so upsetting. Basically, the way the company, BP and whoever, Boots and Coots, started out with the whole cleanup efforts was respirators are bad for PR. If people see you on the beach with respirators, and we need the tourism down here, and the counties are going to get mad at us, so we couldn't possibly give you respirators. And like you said, you actually, the way they have it set up, you can't just go. They make it seem like you can just walk over to Home Depot or go online and buy a respirator, but it's not that easy. You need to be qualified, like you said, by OSHA, and you have to go through a test. You have to go through permits and get licensed to wear a respirator. That's bull. I went to Home Depot and got a respirator, and now we're seeing that respirators aren't even what you really need. You need a rebreather.
Oh, yeah. And volunteers aren't even allowed to provide their own respirator.
Exactly, and you can't even...
That tells you how sick these people really are. They don't care about you. They care about covering this crap up more than they do about what's going to happen to you 20, 40 years down the road. They don't care.
Yeah, if we're all still here 20 or 40 years down the road. Yeah.
Which
Go ahead.
It brings up another point that I was going to point out. In a recent poll the other day, I read it on the Telegraph, it states that 40% of Americans believe that we will see the return of Jesus Christ in the next 40 years. Now,
which is it?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Keep going.
Now, I bring this up because I think it's going to be even sooner than that, personally. I think we're going to see the return of Jesus Christ very soon. But, a lot of people are, I wouldn't say putting rumors, but a lot of people are convinced about this December 21st, 2012 deal, which I was too. I mean, I've looked into it a lot. But the reason I disagree with that is because I go by God's calendar. And I'll tell you what, in the Bible, God doesn't circle any dates for us on when his return is coming. And the only reason I point this out is just so that people realize, don't get left in the dark on this deal. You never know what's going to bring tomorrow or the next second. And I'm not going to go on a complete rant about that, but I just wanted to point that out when I read this poll. That's what got me thinking about.
Very interesting. There's a lot going on down here that, and a lot of speculation, a lot of people who are wondering, a lot of the stuff that you're bringing up. So, it does raise a lot of questions, and it brings on a lot of what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Matt, do you have anything on any evacuation notices? I know we've seen a lot of videos on the Internet that are popping up saying that they're going to want everyone to evacuate the Gulf Coast. Have you heard anything about that? Do you know anything?
Okay, I have not seen an actual notice myself, but I will say the presence of buses as far north as Jackson, Mississippi, suggests a really strong possibility. Let me give you some breaking news, if you will, that I just got word of within the last hour, actually, since we talked earlier.
Great, okay.
Yeah, right after we got off the phone, I started getting massive amounts of phone calls from people that I've met down in the Gulf since I've been here. And let me tell you, the picture they're painting for me, and I'm still waiting on some clarification on things, but these are all people who don't even know each other are giving me phone calls saying that a lot of southern Louisiana, specifically in Plaquemines Parish, last night the military apparently moved in and is setting up blockades all up and down. And there's military in a lot of different places, and this is terrifying to me. And I'm not one that gets scared easily, but these are people that are extremely credible and reliable sources that are saying the military is in the south of Louisiana as you and I are talking right now, and it's happened within the last 24 hours. And that right there leads me to believe that, yes, something is going to happen, which is what I've been saying for the last week, and I'm still going to keep saying because every sign, in my opinion, points to yes.
Now, do you believe it's something to do with them recently removing that cap, or do you think that them removing that cap is a cover-up for what else I've been hearing, which is that they might nuke this thing?
Yes, and here's why I say that. You do any amount of research into what's going on down there,